Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay!
We're here at Toastmasters at the First United Methodist Church in Fairfield, Golden Speakers. My name is Rhonda Whitaker. I'm the president of Golden Speakers Club. We meet once a week, every Tuesday at 7:30. Guests are welcome. If you folks at home would like to join us, you can come in and give Table Topics a shot. It's the first thing in the evening. It's easy and we're friendly. We also give cookies.
Ha! Cookies? Ah!
The purpose of a Toastmasters group. Every Toastmasters club has the same mission. Through shared values, it gives us in-depth meaning, and we make more progress in our personal growth, our personal education, and our personal confidence. The mission of a Toastmasters club is to create a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to learn oral communication and leadership skills. Do we have some guests
Which in
tonight?
turn fosters self-confidence and
It
personal
went
growth.
away.
Yes, we do have a guest. Hi,
Hi.
fellow Toastmasters. My name is Eric Bourgo, and I'm from Quebec. And I was invited this afternoon to join you, so it's my first time ever I do a meeting, Toastmaster meeting in the States, so kind of made it.
Thank you for
Welcome.
coming. Tonight, our Toastmaster is a Madam Toastmaster. She will conduct the entire program and introduce participants. Please help me warmly welcome Stephanie Chambers.
Yo!
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Tonight's theme is pets, and we'll hear more about that I think, probably in table topics. And it's a special meeting tonight. It's an educational meeting, so we don't have as many roles as we normally would. So our only role is the timer, which Jean Summit and Craig is doing. So Jean, could you explain this timer?
Okay, very good. My job is to keep the meeting on time, and we are going to have table topics tonight. So table topics is impromptu speaking. It's 1 to 2 minutes. The green light goes on at 1 minute. The yellow light goes on at 1 minute 30 seconds, and then the red light goes on for 2 minutes and stays on. You have 30 seconds to still be in qualification for table topics champion for the evening. Speeches, we have one speech tonight, is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And that is going to be a special module. It's for 1 hour. Rhonda, how would you like me to time it? Give you the signal?
At 10 minutes, let me know. We have 10 minutes left.
Okay, so at 50 minutes, I'll turn on the green. At 55 minutes, I'll turn on the yellow. And at 1 hour, I'll turn on the red.
Thank you.
And then, do we have an evaluation?
Table topics.
No, just about it.
All right. We'll have one evaluator tonight. Evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. I will turn on the green at 2 minutes. I will turn on the yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and I'll turn on the red at 3 minutes. And then there'll be 30 seconds to finish after that. I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
I might just ask everyone to silence your cell phones so you don't have any interruptions. And I'll hand you over to Ryan Olsen, who's going to lead us in table topics tonight.
Yo!
Yeah.
So tonight our theme is pets. Some people like them, some people hate them. But we've all had various experiences with either our own pets or the one you can't stand next door. The reason for table topics is to raise the anxiety level of everyone in the room. But beyond that, also to facilitate impromptu speaking awareness. So, who would like to go first? Karen.
Yo.
The topic for you tonight is if you could have any pet of your choice, exotic or otherwise, what would it be? No limitations.
Thanks. Table Topics Method. Good evening, Golden Speakers, and honored guest. The question put forth to me, if I could have any animal as a pet, what would I choose? What comes to mind is an experience I had when I was living in India. I was visiting a town called Rishikesh, which is right along the Ganges River. And I was outside of my bed and breakfast, and a man with a big snake wrapped around his neck came towards me. And that was my first encounter with a snake of that size. And immediately he put it around my neck. And I was surprised to find how friendly the snake was, and I felt very relaxed. In fact, I took to the snake right away, and I was really surprised. He started to play his shenai. These are like it's a wooden flute, but it's played more like a oboe because it has a reed. And I had seen something like this on, I don't know, Disney movies, but now I was having the experience for myself, and it was in India, and I loved it. I was totally charmed myself. So I would definitely pick a snake. They're beautiful to look at. The designs, the patterns, mesmerizing. And unlike holding a rabbit, which is quite quivery, a snake feels very steady and stable, and I really like that quality. So I was surprised to find how much I enjoy snakes. That would be the pet of my choice.
Yo.
Okay, who would like to go next? Sure. So the question for you on the theme of pets is, could you tell us the favorite time that you've had with a pet with no legs?
Ha!
A pet with what?
No legs.
A pet with no legs. Well, what comes to my mind is the favorite time. A pet with no legs, something like the snake family. So I'm going to segue into what I think would make any pet happy and healthy, even the ones with no legs. And I love pets. I put out food almost daily for the stray pets that might be hungry in Fairfield. And whether you know it or not, pets are very similar to us in how they digest their food and how they stay healthy. And we and pets only live as long as we have live enzymes in our digestive system. And if you let your dog have time to do what he needs to do when he walks, and cats, they will gravitate to green plants and chew on them because they need that chlorophyll, that enzyme, to be healthy. And when you do that, you just have these animals at bay. They just respect you so much because you understand what they need. And animals are so fond of serving us. It's so easy to gain trust in animals. It's just so easy. And you know, you give them the food, they even let you know what they're hungry for if you give them a chance. So thank you very much. Pets are awesome. They teach us a lot.
Do we have any guests here tonight who might like to do a table topic? Eric?
Do have a guest.
All right.
Come on down.
The topic for you on the theme of pets would be if you could share with us your favorite childhood memory that really stands out for you that you've had with an animal.
Well, fellow Toastmaster and distinguished guest, if I look back about any memories that I have about animals, it always goes back to cats. I love cats. I think cats are great. Cats are so childish. Cats are so easy to be entertained with. They've always been my favorite friends. In fact, I might share to you a very mystical situation that happened in my life.
also the reason
that
why I'm
changed
here
my
for
life tonight. I was saved by cats, believe it or not. Cats are so powerful. Cats can read your mind. Cats are intense in a way that they engage a discussion, a communication with you that you can hardly explain to any common people. And I definitely invite you, if you have a chance or have a cat, to try this kind of exchange dialogue. Back then, I used to be very scared about people like I am right now. And it happened that all of a sudden I was in a house. I was hiding from going anywhere around, and I was like, I gotta find a way to go out. And I had this kind of sudden attraction, sudden contact with cats. 5 of them looking at me and say it's about time. Believe it or not, but since that day, I'm able to talk to people like you. I feel confident, and I have to say that yes, cats are by far my favorite animals, but they're also very, very powerful. So I invite you to really have a chance to connect with them at a different level. Thank you.
We have time for one more. And on the subject of cats, that was doggone interesting. Come right up, please. So, if we could end table topics this evening, my question posed to you would be, should anyone be allowed to own an animal and treat it as their property? Why or why not?
Oh. Well, I haven't put that much thought into it, but I'll try to come out with something. I think that, yes, I have thought about it. And I don't always agree with having pets. Pets are good for children, pets are good for people's heart, but at the same time I feel that it is good for animals to be in their natural habitat. Now, since cats and dogs have been pets for so long, they wouldn't do so well in the wild anymore. But other animals, I know they're very cute, very attractive, but I think that it's good for them to be in their own environment, to be able to take care of themselves. Because when you take care of them, they lose their abilities to care for themselves, they lose their instinct, the natural instinct, or some of it at least, and it's not as healthy for them. And even the food that people may feed them, you know, I just feel that it should be the purest, the wildest, and the most natural for them. So I think that I don't have that much to say tonight, but so thank you.
table topics. I'd now like to ask everyone to vote. Take a minute and vote for who they thought was the best table topic speaker. 2 minutes?
Who's qualified?
Oh, first off, is there any?
Everyone qualified, and that would be Karen, Vera, Eric, and then Rosaline. I had it almost, Rosaline.
All right, now I'd like to ask Cindy Trainer to evaluate table topics we heard tonight.
Congratulations, everyone, on coming up to take part in table topics this evening. Our theme, of course, tonight is pets, and I like, Ryan, that you stuck with the theme, and you asked some really great questions of your audience tonight, and I appreciated all your questions. You left them open-ended, which allowed your topic speakers to be able to be creative with their answers. The first up was Karen. Karen greeted the audience and she repeated the question, which is a great way of allowing yourself a little more time to think of answers. And it also gives continuity and a great place to start for answering questions. Karen came out from the lectern and spoke about snakes and her encounter with this really big one.
Ha!
You could really give us a little more description if you maybe said it was this big, you know how fat it was or how large it was, or use some gestures, it was this long, or you could have said, and he wrapped it around my neck, and some little more gestures to just embellish upon your talk. Otherwise, I also commend you for wrapping up with kind of a summation. And you answered the question very briefly. So your body was really good. And I like when talks come full circle, go back to the beginning, which you did. So thank you very much, Karen, for that.
Thank you.
Vera Elizabeth was asked about a pet with no legs. And I liked, and you used the word segue. You said you were going to segue off into another topic, but you did stay on pets. I'd like you to see you add a little more vocal variety. Get a little louder. You have a nice, pleasant voice, but with the air conditioning and other sounds in the room, it's a little on the soft side. And because I was in the back of the room, I missed a few words because I didn't quite hear them. So that's something I hope you can work on. Otherwise, I liked how you answered the question. You did a good job. Eric is our guest tonight. And you answered the question about what your favorite pet was. I liked the good eye contact. You seemed to really pay attention to more people on this side of the room, but you did cover some over here. I liked your gestures. They were very well done. And everyone tonight came out in front of the lectern. So I commend you, Eric, for coming out and talking with us tonight as a guest. Rosalind, to own an animal or not? That is a really great question. I liked your answer. And that's, I'd like to see, you were quite stationary up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so practice, maybe when you get to the area about gestures in your speech, then that'll allow you to really blossom out and use gestures in that area. But I liked your answer to the conversation. So thank you very much. Mr. or Madam Toastmaster.
Yo!
Now I'd like to introduce Rhonda Whittaker, our president. She's going to be giving a 1-hour speech. The purpose of the successful club series is to present various aspects of quality club meetings and emphasize what every member can do to help the club and other members. Why is Moments of Truth important to a Toastmasters club? Club's most important goals are member service and member satisfaction. The purpose of this presentation is to have each member actively participate in order to improve the club. Rhonda will help us to look at the raw truth. The objectives of this presentation are to find out member needs, feelings and thoughts, engage member creativity, enthusiasm and insight, and hear member recommendations. Rhonda is a professional massage therapist licensed in Iowa. Her Toastmasters International advice, she presents moments of truth to give us each the chance to speak up for a more satisfying club experience. Please welcome Rhonda.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever seen a court scene with Judge Judy?
Yes.
Yes. You know, Judge Judy sweeps in a dignified manner, creating fear in the hearts of those who are on the stand, calls it to order, and uses techniques to compel people to tell this truth. She's very skilled at put your listening ears on, and intimidates young women who aren't telling the truth with beauty fades, but dumb is forever. I love Judge Judy and her techniques. I used to admire her technique for communicating with people and motivating people to tell the truth. However, I'm glad she's not here at our club tonight. We have a sweet truth policy here. Who are we to be here tonight? Why are we here? We are here because we like people to listen to us. The people that listen to us, we want them to praise us. And the best part is the Oreo cookie at the end. So we have a piece of cake here. This is a great way to tell the truth in this club. Moments of Truth talks about the aspects and standards of creating. Slobodan is here. Welcome, Slobodan.
He's early, but he's here.
So we talk about moments of truth, the standards we go by to create a successful club, the potential of Toastmasters educational program is beyond most people's imagination. They have a foundation for us to use and create self-confidence and personal power in the process. Tonight we're going to use the overhead projector, which is an education in itself, to discuss moments of truth. This is a successful club module. There are 10 modules you can do to earn credit toward your Advanced Communicators Bronze or your Advanced Leadership Bronze or Advanced Communicator Silver. A moment of truth. If you can't see, please move to a seat where you can see the screen. I'm going to cover these slides in the next 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes, we're going to break into 6 groups of 3, and each group will handle a different standard of truth or a moment of first impressions for the club. During the group time, people will share their feelings about how they feel about each of these standards with our club. If we're meeting this standard, we will get a yes. We can get up to 6 yeses with each standard. A moment of truth is an episode where a person comes in contact with any aspect of the Toastmasters experience, like a newsletter article, a Facebook page, someone doing a speech in public, maybe a table topics luncheon for the community. They have this experience and form an impression of a club's quality and service. So Moments of Truth is about quality, service, and membership satisfaction. Our first Moment of Truth standard is first impressions.
The other way.
Everybody see?
Yep.
That's when the people walk in the door. Who's there to greet them? Are they warmly greeted or are they ignored? Do they kind of wander through the halls, figure out we're meeting in this room? First impressions. Are they introduced to a member that they can sit next to that might answer some of their questions? Are they introduced to an officer who could help them understand the value of being a member? Membership orientation is our second standard. We have mentors here. Our mentors are the ones that introduce us to the educational program and help us understand the manual. Did anyone here have someone go through their manual with them? Did you talk on the phone? Raise your hand if you talked on the phone. How many people met in person? Good? Today we're very busy people, so the phone and social media are how most of us communicate. But being face-to-face with a person and helping them as a mentor has a great deal of value of education for the mentor as well as the mentee. Our third standard is fellowship, variety, and communication. So far we are a very formal club. I haven't seen us do much informal except have a potluck at Diane's house in June. I think that's an area that we could expand. Our variety and communication seems to come from the vast knowledge of our members and the topics that they're interested in. It's usually something interesting, exciting, and helpful, or gives us an insight into another culture. Program planning and meeting organization. Since Dan took over as VP of Ed, we're having a great experience with our agenda. It comes out on Saturday. Do people like getting the agenda earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dan! Yeah!
The other part of that is that when we get it earlier, we can actually look at the role we're assigned, and what do we do then?
Read about it.
Read about it, right. Good. So we prepare. Membership strength is our fifth standard. We have a lot of people come and go in this club, but we manage to have about 20 members every meeting. I think that our membership drive could be boosted this year. Achievement recognition. How often have you noticed someone getting awarded for an achievement in this club? Once? Raise your hand. Twice? 3 times? 3 or 4 times? Okay, so I've only seen it once. First impressions. Guests are warmly greeted and introduced to officers and members. Guest book and name tags are provided. We missed out with Eric tonight. Somehow he slipped in and we didn't get him a name tag. I don't know if he signed the guest book or if he was greeted. My apologies.
He was greeted.
He was greeted? Good. We have a professionally arranged meeting room. We have a convenient meeting location. It's easy to find. Oddly enough, anytime I visited Toastmasters, it's always been held in a basement. Or it's lower level, and I'm not sure if we're hiding out from something or not. Guests are invited to address the club. We usually do quite well with asking our guests if they'd like to comment. Guests are invited to join. How many people were invited to join the first night they showed up at Toastmasters? Great.
The ones that weren't aren't here.
Membership orientation.
This way.
Membership orientation.
A little more.
Who has not been formally inducted into this club? Okay,
Didn't happen last year.
right. Little behind the eight ball there. And why don't we give out pins anymore, Tom?
We only get pins for those who complete the Competent Communicator Manual. Upon completion, you are presented with a pin that costs this club $8 each.
And the manuals?
Come when they come. They actually get them, they get sent to their home. But we do give them a manual. When they give Art money, he gives people a manual. So they walk out with a manual day one.
Great. Assignment of a mentor. Did anyone ask for a mentor after a few weeks, or were they offered a mentor the first week they joined? First week? Anyone? 1, 2, 3, stop, few. How many had to ask for a mentor a couple weeks later? Okay.
Practice
Education.
on that matter has varied over time. Lately, it's different from what it's been.
I'm speaking in the past year, just from the
Yeah.
last 10 months. Education programs and recognition system discussed. How many people understand the education program they're working on right now? How many people have read the manual? That's good, about 50%. Learning needs assessed. Did anyone help you set specific goals? Great. Do the people that are mentoring you suggest areas of action for you with your projects? Very good. Speaking roles assigned to new members. How soon were you assigned your icebreaker? 1 week? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Okay, great. That's excellent. Member involved in club activities. Are members invited to participate in every club activity? Yeah. Fellowship. Variety and communication. Guests are greeted warmly. Enjoyable educational meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Heck yeah.
Regularly scheduled social
I'm having a
events.
great time.
Thank you, Sam. So, regularly scheduled social events. We have 2 per year. I would like to see us do 2 more.
Yeah.
So, if you have creative ideas, please let your leaders know. Write it on a piece of paper or email it. Use our email system. Actually, email's much quicker than paper. Participation in area, district, and international events. Yes, we
Heck yeah.
participate in the Area 92 speech contest next month. Inter-club events. How many people have visited other clubs? How many people have been involved in an event at another club? That's great. We're moving in the right direction. Club newsletter and/or website updated regularly. Big 0 here. We have room for improvement there. Program planning and meeting organization. Program and agenda publicized in advance.
Yay!
Yay, Dan!
Yo for Dan.
Members are prepared to carry out all program assignments. Who does that? Give yourself a hand. All projects are manual projects. That means we don't give free airtime unless it's part of a membership drive. Meetings begin and end on time.
In a few minutes, we're good on that.
Creative table topics and activities.
Yes.
Now, what activities are we doing that are creative?
When we do objects,
Oh, yes.
And those are fun.
Objects. Okay,
Objects.
now that's-
Those are fun
that's what-
table topics.
Props.
Oh,
Props.
Prop night.
Prop night.
Yeah.
Positive and helpful evaluations.
Yes!
Has everyone had a sweet evaluation here?
Yes.
Yes. Has anyone had a sour evaluation here?
Not all
Oh,
the time.
see what a great club we are? Membership strength. The club has 20 or more members.
Always,
Yes.
Members are retained.
yes.
If you live here permanently, yes. Promotion in club's organization or community.
Yes.
By
Yes.
club's organization, I think they're referring to a corporation where you promote your corporate club to other employees. In our community, I think we have room for more promotion. Club programs are varied and exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Toastmasters sponsoring new members are recognized. The only one I ever remember getting recognized unofficially was Seth, when I told people he invited me to come. But last year, we were a little flat on that. Regular membership building programs. We do 2 membership drives per year with a special event. One's coming up the end of October or early November. We're open to creative ideas. If you know of a keynote speaker, please email me their name and information so we can contact them. And we are interested in using local talent as well.
We have in the past done 3 a year, depending on the strength of the officers.
What does that mean, strength of the officer?
Coherence of the officer.
Coherence,
How coherent officers are, okay. How organized,
organized.
all right.
How retired they are.
Yeah, that's it, who has time? Award applications are immediately submitted to world headquarters. I believe, Dan, you do that, is that correct?
Immediately.
Yes.
Immediately. All you have to do is have the person give them your manual. Everybody listen up. If you want to get your award, you give your manual to Dan. After you've had everything signed off, or Art.
Well, it's as immediate as strategically appropriate.
Yes.
Right.
There are some times at the end of June, we don't submit them till July.
Right.
It's
Oh, well.
there's strategy there.
Yes, we work our DCP plan
Yes, we do.
with that, but I want people to know that they have to give it to Dan. He validates that everything, every date is correct and there's an evaluation. Then the person fills out the rest of their application and it is submitted. So a member has to take a part in getting this immediately awarded. Progress chart displayed and maintained. We do have that in the hallway. We're working on it this year. We'd like you to fill in your name on the appropriate chart as soon as possible. Member achievements recognized with ceremony. As a matter of fact, we did that last week. Club district and international leaders are recognized. From this past year, I remember Don Wadley. Does anybody remember Don?
Yeah, Don.
Yeah. And we had Kristen Bruckman from
Yeah.
Marine Club. And this year, we're waiting for a new area governor for 92. Club and member achievements are publicized. A hand for this past event.
Yeah, Jeff.
He has one on the way with Fairfield Weekly Reader and the Ledger again for the awards we just gave last week.
That's what I'm talking
Thank you,
about.
Jeff. Our DCP, our Distinguished Club Program, is used for planning and recognition. Absolutely, all the way. Does your club meet standards?
Wrong way. There you go.
We're talking about first impressions, when the members come in the door, the guests come in the door, membership orientation, fellowship, variety, and communication. These are not easy questions. I would like you to feel into yourself and notice what you have been disappointed with in this club tonight. This is your chance to speak up and make changes for the positive. Program planning and meeting organization, membership strength and achievement recognition. Those are the 6 standards that we'll be examining tonight, because, you say this with me, you never get a chance to make a first impression.
Yo!
Very good. Now, I'd like you to stand up. And I'd like you to form Groups of 3. Please be pulling out.
I don't know, I'm just
Okay,
scoping the scene.
round 2.
It's like to hang out here with boys for with that. See?
Sure,
Okay, good.
3.
Circle up. Everybody get a rattle.
Each group of 3 has one.
One rattle per group, I'm sorry. One rattle per group. One, 2, 3.
And you need a rattle group.
Yeah, I got one. Thank you.
We had 2. Oh, okay.
So this is gonna be a downtime.
Now, pick someone in your group to write down what you've discussed. That person will also report to the audience.
I have a pen.
Can I put somebody in
He's leading.
One person to write down. The 6 up there, you want to be on the box, they can review, and they're gonna get all.
Get a-
No, they got it on, you got it over there.
No, I'm doing it.
Oh, you're doing it, all right. So they know what they're gonna do. I don't know. Do we know what we're doing? I just work here.
All right, we have our leaders. Now you're gonna Group 3, Fellowship, Variety, and Communication. Group 4, Program Planning and Meeting Organization. Second exercise, which is, once you got the number of yeses that the club meets, the number of standards we are successful with, you consider recommendations for the areas of weakness, and you write down your recommendations to present to the audience. You have 10 minutes. I will let you know 1 minute before time is up. Please begin. Let's start with group number 1. You may all sit down comfortably. Now our reports will come in from each group. Group number 1 speaker would be Dan's group. Stephanie, yes. Stephanie, could you please come up and tell us the number of yeses for your group? And I am going to record your recommendations here on this chart.
We were looking at first impressions, and we had 6 yeses, but we also had some recommendations.
Good. So, can you give us your recommendations now, please?
Okay, so with regards to the first point of guests greeted warmly and introduced to officers and members, we thought that we need to make sure that the greeter knows what to do and who to introduce people to. And we also need to have someone come in a bit early, just in case the joke master, who's the greeter, doesn't come in early. So hopefully we should make sure that the greeter does come in early, but have someone as a backup. And we also thought it might be useful to have the names of the officers on the back, printed on the back of the agenda, and their contact details. That would also mean if you, say, wanted to get a mentor, you could email the person who does that directly rather than having everyone see all the emails. Because sometimes we get a few too many emails.
Email directly.
So we can email directly to that person if there's something specific we need.
Which we need to be doing more often, sending direct emails as opposed to the entire group every time.
Right.
Right.
Good point.
That's what they're asking.
That's right.
The only other recommendation we had was in a different one to do with arrangements meet speakers' needs. I think people should be made aware that if they're speaking, and if they don't, say, want the podium in the way, they can ask it to be moved and other things like that. So
Speakers' needs for their speech.
yeah, speakers need to be aware that they can ask to have it rearranged. And the last one about guests being invited to join. If the membership person isn't here, we should have it worked out who the backup is and which other person should go up and invite the guests to join.
That's the president's job when she closes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, they can
Because
see the
it's good-
president.
It's good afterwards though, when it's more informal for people to go up and, introduce them and show them the manual and talk to them. So that was our set of suggestions.
Very good, let's give her a hand. All right, our second group, that would be Art's group. Art, could you please come up and give your report?
Yeah, all right.
We were assigned the new member orientation topic. We had 6 yeses, but we are of the opinion that a straight up or down yes or no is not quite the right kind of answer for these issues. For example, are mentors offered and assigned mentors when they're beginning? We gave ourselves an 80% rating on that. The program exists and it works. It doesn't work as a finely oiled machine. It's not functioning perfectly, but it's working, particularly for the people who want to make it work. On the other hand, one of the other points was, are the learning needs being assessed? And my impression, and it may be incorrect, is that Dan has been struggling to get everyone to actually complete the member survey, which would answer that question 100%, because the explicit questions on the survey are about your learning needs and desires. So we gave ourselves a 30% rating on that. So the roles being assigned as soon as the new member comes into the club is working, I believe, perfectly. Very few people have ever dropped through the cracks and not been assigned roles very early on within the first couple of weeks. And members are heavily involved in all the activities of the club, which primarily consists of organizing these meetings. So we have 2 recommendations. On the mentor program, my recommendation, I'm giving the module on this next week, my recommendation is that the mentor program be strengthened by a bit of training of mentors on how to actually be a mentor, and a little bit of follow-up to make sure that mentor processes are actually working so that it doesn't fall into a mentor relationship actually grows and works for the assigned pair. And the other recommendation was that the survey be completed so that the learning needs are in fact getting assessed. That's my report.
Thank you, Art.
Yay!
All right, group 3. I'd like to have the speaker come up from group 3 and report.
Oh, it's us.
Eric.
Okay, so we're assigned the fellowship, variety and communication. Out of what we have, 4 yes and 2 no.
May I ask which were the no's?
The no was mostly the club newsletter.
Oh,
But we issue it on a regular basis.
yeah.
And also the guest greeted, no, that was good. In fact, the guest was warmly greeted. It's number 2, enjoyable and educational meetings plan.
That was a no?
That was a no. Wanna know why? That's a no?
Yeah, yeah.
You will. All right. Please don't tell me anything. I'm just doing my job. In fact, I am.
Shake us up.
We have to know, based on my own experience with Club Toastmaster in Canada, based on the way we do it there, in a way we really invite people to make mistakes. We really invite people to learn by their mistakes. So we want to encourage people not just to make mistakes, but to loosen up, feel at home, and feel that they're in a safe place to learn. Mostly we were talking about variation in the routine. So we can really bring something special, something specific to the group. If you go in Montreal as an example, the club that I was with, I was involved with the club for over 3 years. We have something very unique. If it's not the language, it's the way people are in the group. We try to be like a family. So we see progress and we invite people to step out of their comfort zone. How often you see members that join Toastmasters, they've been there for many years and they're still at the same place because they don't go out of their comfort zone. So we really try to emphasize on that. So by trying to bring the little spice, a little something more, you will definitely not just attract people, but keep people there. That's very important.
Eric, also share your idea about the different kinds of table topics.
As an example, thank you. Thanks for bringing the idea. Table topics. You know, there's a very specific way to work with any programs designed by Toastmasters. We know that. Trying to find a way to extend any, say, table topics, for example, to another level, where you use objects. See? You invite people, again, to step out of their comfort zone, but also use their imagination a little bit more. So, I guess next time if I come by, I'll give you an example. How about that? Yeah! That's about it for me.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Let's give it a rattle. Now, group 4. That would be Jean's group. Welcome, Gina.
Glued to my timer here. All right, so program and agenda publicized in advance. There was a warm recognition that there's been a lot of improvement in that area. However, there was a concern that a system be in place so that this can be passed along. Whether that means the current VP of Ed, who's making a bunch of changes all in the direction of smoother, simpler, nicer experience, maybe writes out a procedure list, something, so that it can be handed along easily to the next VP of Ed. There's a lot going on with that job. Secondly, members know program responsibilities and are prepared to carry out all assignments. We did yes, yes, and no. We were doing it within our group. So that was mostly yes, but there were some points. One is if the request that if an absence is known in advance, before the matrix has come out, at least by the meeting before roles are going to be assigned, that the VP of Ed is notified. So you know you're going to be out of town, you let him know, so that we don't have people assign things that, oh, I forgot to say, I'm not going to be, all that stuff, and all those emails all start flying around. And and I saw myself on the YouTube and I'm not smiling enough. I'm gonna be smiling more.
Cereal.
Cereal, yes. Another point is for carrying out assignments, that members should be arriving, if you have a role, no later than 10 minutes before the meeting starts. That's the standard, because if you're not here, then the Toastmaster and the general evaluator have time to reassign. Let's just say you got hit by a bus on the way over here and you're lying unconscious in the gutter. We have time to assign somebody else your role and or call the EMTs. Let's see, and the third thing would be, even if you're not assigned a role, that members are very clear that they have a responsibility to attend and support the meeting. Okay? Because just like that, somebody gets hit by a bus and you are going to be asked to step up. And we need people in the audience just to be part of it, right? So that's how we are supporting our club. So even if you don't have a role, you do have a role. Then speeches given from basic and advanced manuals, we thought that was yes. We don't give free airtime. Meetings begin and end on time, we thought yes, that was pretty well done most of the time. Creative table topics. We must be having a different experience. We felt that our table topics are pretty good. I know I've handled numerous objects up here. I've been put in many compromising situations to be impromptu about. So I don't know, we can always learn though from other table topics is such an open, colorful experience. But I thought we did actually pretty well in that, and so did my group. Okay. Then finally, positive and helpful evaluations. We said yes, we thought the evaluations were really well done here. That we evaluate our evaluators, that's an extra step, just to make sure that we really are learning how to evaluate. There was a comment that instead of calling it positive and helpful evaluations, that we call it supportive and helpful evaluations. Because it was pointed out that sometimes I can be a little intense on my evaluations, but if I'm smiling, it won't be that way. But seriously, that wasn't just me, seriously, that we are trying to be supportive and helpful. It won't necessarily be a whitewash, however. Like, oh, all you did was great, and because that's not how we learn. All right, so that was it from group 4. All right. Captain Jensen.
Shake your hand.
Hello. Well, my group members and I were involved in discussing some of the answers, so we didn't get through all of the questions. But I'll let you know the answers that we came up with. So our topic was membership strength. And the first question is, club has 20 or more members. Well, that to us was a vague question in and of itself, because then we had to try to infer, well, are they talking about how many members we actually currently have as active members, or are we talking about members that come and attend the meetings, our regular meetings? So in general, we said yes, we have 20 or more members, but not all in attendance at every meeting. Our second topic was current members retained. Well, that kind of answered that a little bit in a sense. If you have members that are, so to speak, active but aren't coming to the group meetings, then how are you classifying retention? So then we had several suggestions for that, and this is where we got a little sidetracked with our time. We felt that there was quite a bit of turnover for the retained members. We looked around the room and based just on tonight's attendance, felt that there was either long-term members that have been here for 2, 3+ years, 5, 10, we won't say, and then other members like myself who've only been here for maybe 3 or 4 months. And that seems to be more of the meat of the attendees. So then that led to discussion of how could we improve membership retention. And I don't think we
completed this entirely, but the meetings we felt were a bit long. And for lack of a better term, we could cut some of the fat out of the meeting, Rhonda, and shorten our meeting times. I think that I can say from personal experience, having attended training, that not all Toastmaster meetings go to the length that ours do and meet as frequently as ours do. So that's something to consider. Also, if you're feeling pressure, perhaps this is something that is not retaining members, is that they're all of a sudden assigned a role and maybe they don't know how to do that role competently, or for whatever reason feel that they need a break from being assigned roles. So to have that permission that it's okay to take a break from having roles assigned, and to know that that's okay, and not to feel a pinch about it, and then just not to show up. Other questions that we were asked was promotion of club in the community or within its organization. We felt there was a little bit of that. Again, it was not a very clear question for us, the way that it was worded. So I think that these questions could be strengthened. That's some of our group feedback. And we did have some examples, like Alex was giving a world record Guinness breaking speech for 30 plus hours, and we mentioned it. So that was one example where we said, okay, we're promoting another member of our group, but how is that promoting Toastmasters? So that wasn't clear to us either. And then the two questions that we really didn't get to are Toastmasters sponsoring new members recognized, and Rhonda, you said by your own admittance you didn't feel so, and regular membership building programs. I think that could be strengthened in my own opinion, and my group seems to agree. So thank you for asking our opinion, and I hope that these suggestions are taken to heart and implemented. Thank you very much. Group 6 and group
Our group addressed the topic recognizing accomplishments, and I relied on Seth for most of the questions because he's been here the longest. And award applications immediately submitted to World Headquarters. I guess we do a good job on this one. The progress chart displayed and maintained, that's something we implemented a couple weeks ago. So we're a yes on that one. Member achievements formally recognized with ceremony, and that I found out does not include what we do at the end of the meeting. So I'm not sure this is a strength of ours. So maybe we could work on having more of these ceremonies of recognition. Club, district, and international leaders recognized. Yes, we do that. Although it hasn't happened in the time I've been here. So it informs me that we do acknowledge leaders who've come. Club and member achievements publicized. This is a clear no. This is a weak point. For example, I know this club has been first in the state. I'm not sure if that has been publicized very well. And then we lost last year, and I didn't hear anything about that. And so we could do more on the PR end of things. DCP.
Coming in second doesn't
Well,
suit this
there
club.
could still be there could still be ways of phrasing what's going on and keeping the community informed of what happens here. DCP used for planning and recognition. We've been very strong in that area. We were a little bit weak last year, so we still do more so we can get back in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Well, as you can see, the top-heavy recommendations came from the last three. Whew. So, a man said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. That was Yogi Berra. I have a statement about this publicized stuff. There's an acronym. How can you make a comeback if you've never been anywhere? We need to publicize ourselves. Our visibility is low right now. It's been low for a year. So let's start thinking of a bulletin.
1 in 100 clubs in the whole world and has their own YouTube channel. We are one of the top in that. So if you're not paying attention to what's going on back here, out of 100 out of like 20,000 clubs has their own TV show and their own YouTube channel. It's right here.
Yeah. Woo! All right.
May I say that you have a piece of living publicity sitting right next to me? If other clubs were aware of it, probably will come by to me, did the 37 hours non-stop because again, it's that. Right here.
Just stand outside and shake hands.
Sign autographs. How's
Yes.
that? All right, in conclusion, thank you all for participating, speaking what's in your heart, what's in your mind. Your contributions add body to this club. They add passion to this club. Thank you very much. In conclusion, I'd like to end with a success story. The quickest way to get what you want is to identify what you want. Tonight we identified what we want. We still have some areas that could be fleshed out with this. Hopefully, we will continue to discuss these areas for improvement. We are a large frog in a small pond in a way, even though right now we're a big frog in a small pond. We may be one of 100 clubs, but those 100 clubs are going to get up to speed with social media. And then where will we be if we don't do these basic club building things?
Preach it, Rhonda, come on.
Years ago, advertising legend David Ogilvy set out to establish a great advertising agency within a dozen years. At the time, he was a small tobacco farmer in Pennsylvania. On his second day of business, he made a list of 5 clients he most wanted to get. Bristol Myers, Campbell's Soup, General Foods, Lever Brothers, and Shell Oil Company. Eventually, he had them all. So set your goals, be specific, set a time to start and a time to end.
Yeah.
You can make it happen. Thank you for participating tonight, Madam Toastmaster.
Yo!
Thank you, Rhonda, for that interesting moment of truth. I think we all enjoyed having a chance to say what we thought could be improved. I'd now like to call on our timer, Jean, to give a report.
Our timer is duct taped in many ways. But, no problem. All times are accounted for. Table topics. Karen Aoki, 1 minute 42 seconds. Vera, 1 minute 35 seconds. Eric, 1 minute 42 seconds. And Rosaline, 1 minute 27 seconds. Cindy, the evaluator, was over time, 3 minutes 50 seconds. It's all right, she didn't have any competition. And Rhonda was 58 minutes.
Yo!
And now I'll award prize for the best tabletop. And tonight's winner is Karen
What a charmer!
And we have a minute to spare. I thought I'd just mention that Scott had a good idea as a social event you could maybe think about doing. In a few weeks' time, the international convention is being held in Ohio. Is anyone going? Well, we read in the Toastmasters manual that it's going to be streamed, so we thought maybe we could all get together and watch the competition and see the winners.
That sounds
Yeah.
Put that in your mind, and once we find out what time it is, we'll work out where to meet and how to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I'll hand you back to our president, Rhonda.
Now, I'd like to ask our guest, Eric, I know you had a chance to comment already, in a big way, but is there anything else you would like to comment on the meeting tonight?
Well, we'll start.
Okay, enough.
I will say it's my first time, but I will come back. I will say that I was very impressed by the quality of the speech, but also about really the place itself. It's very suitable to have such a function. Most of the places I've been to, it's too small. They don't really have the colors, and right there you feel at home, and yeah. Way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. I'd like to ask if any of our officers need to make a comment tonight for the benefit of the members.
I have a comment.
Hello. I'm not an officer of this club, but I used to be. That's right, but I'm an officer of the Advance Club now. I'm the president of our Advance Club. And the Advance Club is meeting on Wednesday, do we know, VP of Ed? The third Wednesday of this month. Absolutely, the third Wednesday of this month on Wednesday.
21st.
The 21st, thank you. At 7:30, I believe, is when we meet. It's awesome. We get together. It's much more informal. It's for people who are professional speakers or use speaking professionally. Does that make sense? Professional speakers or people who use speaking professionally. Come and join us. Scott's there. Stephanie's there. They won't be there this time because they're going to be in the Caribbean.
We'll be there for that meeting.
Oh,
It's not-
great.
Not the one before.
Fantastic. Who might be interested in visiting our Advance Club to see what it's about? It's a good time. There's a lot more feedback. The gloves come off. You know, we kind of spar a little more. It's right here in this room, 7:30, third Wednesday of the month. And we also have a mastermind group that meets each month on the second Wednesday of the month, which is tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
No,
No, no.
next week.
Next week?
Next weekend.
I'm
No,
thank you. My other officers are correcting me. What's the date on that?
Yes.
1 week from the 20th.
Thank you, the
Before the
14th.
The 13th, the 14th.
What is it?
whatever.
Wednesday the 14th at noon at Centerpoint Investment, which is on the corner of 4th and Low. Corner of 4th and Low, east entrance. I have an office suite in there, and we use the meeting room, and it's for sales, marketing, and networking as it pertains to professional speaking. And that's a very select group. If you're not a professional speaker, you'll be very boring. You don't want to go there. So professional speakers, networking, sales and marketing mastermind.
Well, not just professional speakers, but people who, as you say, want to speak professionally or want to use their voice in a professional manner. So it's not like you have to be set on stage in front of 1,000 people. There's other ways to utilize these.
Yes, especially for this meeting here on the 21st. Thanks, Rhonda.
No.
I would like to, Tom?
We have no one who will handle the camera next week. Ryan has submitted that he'll be here for the 20th, but if nobody volunteers
It's likely I will be here
next week,
next week.
then I'll get you the camera. You can pass it off if no one else can handle it. Thank you all.
Okay.
Somebody's got to push the button. It's just really hard. You push the button on, you push the button off.
All right, I can't see the clock.
It's not.
I would like to suggest that people go to the International Toastmasters site and look at the format for business cards. And print up a business card with your name on it so that you can hand your business cards out to your friends in the community. Invite them to Toastmasters. I also would like to announce that we are interested in having a table topics luncheon at some restaurant in town. And I'd like to see a show of hands if you would prefer to have it catered or order individually. Who would like to have a catered lasagna or penne pasta catered lunch with a salad and herbal iced tea.
But you're in the
1,
restaurant.
2, 3.
Like which restaurant would do that?
Revelations, that's the only one I've talked to so far. They have lots of big
Or
rooms,
green
we
room.
could meet downstairs. I'll send an email with the details and you can look it over.
When are we doing this?
We can
In the
decide
future.
that after we know we have enough people to do it.
Oh, we'll come, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a table topics.
It would be a noontime thing.
Yeah.
Table topics, just members at first. If it's a success, we'll invite guests to come next time. And it will be a regular community outreach program that's of an informal nature, basically. Introduce it to people in public.
There is a list in the back of over 100 different ways to do table topics. It's in one of the file folders back there.
Oh, cool.
100 different ways to do table topics.
That'd be great.
Fine, Bob, and great. Okay.
It's there, you just gotta use
Google
it.
it too.
All right, on that note, I think it's time for us to adjourn.
Yo!